What is the highest level of intelligence or the wisdom in a religious perspective is called enlightenment. Expanding your perception is the enlightenment. Conventional world, people might be a little bit strict on definitions, but the rough idea about the enlightenment is reaching to the highest standard of the wisdom or the knowledge. Now, in the religious perspective, it's the highest standard of intelligence or the wisdom. Now, let's see what a human is. Who am I? I'm nothing but a one thought at a time. So myself is nothing but a one thought at a time. But how can I catch a one thought? You have to slow down the thought process. Now, how to slow down the thought process? That's how these great teachers like Buddha taught us. Now, suppose when I'm doing this presentation, if I have a way to suck all my thoughts out, what would you think would happen? I will freeze up. The reason is I can function without thoughts. Now, the same way you took all the thoughts out of me, now you shoot back in the first thought. So now I'm having a one thought. If I have a way to see what's the formation of these thoughts? How does this start? How did it formed? According to Buddhism, according to Buddha, that's the ultimate enlightenment. So, in Buddhist scripts, they describe this in few steps, actually 5 steps. It's called Phassa, Vedana, Cetana, Sanya, Manasikara. So, what is Phassa? Phassa is nothing but a spark. A spark happens somewhere. Vedana. Vedana is a feeling. Is it a good feeling, bad feeling, or is it a neutral feeling? Sanya. Where did it start? We know we have 5 senses and the 6th one is the mind. So the 3rd step talks about where did it begin at? With what sense? So we have 5 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the body, our skin. So the 6th one is the mind. Then the last 2 are called Cetana and Manasikara. Buddha, he himself didn't really explain about the last 2 because for a normal person, it's pointless of explaining that too far. So he briefly touched it. What that is, you see the formation of the thought, how the thought forms. And once you see the trick, once you see how it happens, you would understand the hoax of this life. There's no meaning to this life. Now, you wanted to know what's the path to the enlightenment, or how to get to the enlightenment, how to be enlightened. Now, I will simplify you and I will teach you 2 methods. One takes time. The other thing is a daily practice. Now, when I said one takes time, let me take that back a little bit because that's a negative idea. I don't want to feed you no negative ideas in here. So, one, it's through the meditation, and the other one is a daily practice. What I have used, I actually used both. And I had very fast results with the day-to-day practice than the meditation, but meditation did help a lot. So I cannot say it's one or the other, but it happens. So this happens in multiple steps. And when it happens, you feel it happens. And you will be surprised with the results because you'll be gaining this knowledge, wisdom, all those definitions that we did talked about at first about the enlightenment. You will be stunned. Everything happens to everybody the same way. So if I feel it in a certain way, you're going to feel the same way. You will be surprised. Most videos online and the books, they give you enough knowledge. They tell you this is what happens step by step. But how many people teaches you the practical way? I promise you, I have not seen a single video or a book talks about that. So what I'm delivering to you is the practical way to reach the enlightenment. And I have done that, and I will guide you through the same way that I was practicing. Now, as I said, there are two main different ways. One is strictly meditational way, and then the other way is day-to-day life. We can practice the second method. Now, I would talk about the second method because I think you will have faster results doing the second method. Once again, I'm telling you, both methods work and did work on me. So it's not called this or that. Both work, and you need both to achieve to the last target, because most people, they're just talking about a one. Some people, they just say 100% meditation only. Other people, they talk about no, it's the practical way only. But being impartial, like to me, I practiced both. So meditation did help me to slow down my thought process. And also, meditation taught me one more thing. So we'll talk about that later on in a different video. But here, I just wanted to tell you how to gain this knowledge through the practice, day-to-day practice. When I would meditate, I first realized that was my very first experience in this field. I happened to understand the connection between the five sensors with the mind. Now, in my last video, I think I've explained that. In brief, I was meditating and always the police helicopters hovering about the house. So that did distracted me big time. So every time this happens, so I gave up. But I gave up and then I meditate again the next day. So I kept doing what I was doing. So one day, the helicopters hovering above the house, the usual way, same way. But I hear the noise, but the noise never did registered in my head. That was an experience. That was my first experience of the attachment of five senses and the mind. So that was an ultimate experience because you hear the noise, but nothing registers in your head. So it doesn't bother you at all. I know this might be a little bit difficult for you to understand, but if you keep doing what I have done or what I'm teaching you to do, it is going to happen the same way it happened to me. Now, this video, let's talk about the other practical way to do, but I promise you that I will do another video about the meditation. And because meditation is just a little bit complicated because you have to follow each and every step as it is. So there are positive and negative ideas of doing that too. Let me briefly mention that in here. When you know that in the next step, this is what's going to happen. So while you meditate, when you kind of feel like that you're reaching to this next step, the magic is you are all the way going down to ground zero level. So you have to start all the way up to a point where to get to the next stage. So that's the downside of knowing the path of meditation. But I think it is always better to know than not to know the path. The reason is some people, they experience certain difficulties. There's nothing you experience negative in my teachings or what Buddha has taught to people. This is one of the most sweetest experience in this entire planet Earth. So if you happen to mention things like you happen to see demons, you were having this experience, out of the body type of an experience. So these are all different type of, I would say, mental status. In certain meditational stages, you can practice certain things, but I'm not advising you to do any one of those because there's no reason to do. Today we will focus on to the other method I was telling you about. Now, you can practice this while you're at work, while you're at home, while you're doing anything. And before I forget, I wanted to mention one quick thing. Whatever you do in this field, please keep it as a secret. Do not tell anybody about what you're doing, especially meditation and this type of a field. Do not tell anybody. When I said anybody, do not tell anybody. Just practice it and keep it to yourself. Now, back to what I was saying. You can practice this second method anytime, anywhere you're at, while you're driving, at school, if you're a student, at work. And the people who can get the best benefit out of this are the people who meet too many people, like customer service type of jobs. So you meet people like within 10 seconds a time, 15 seconds a time, customer service type of people. The reason is you meet people. On an average day, you meet too many people comparing to others. Now, we'll talk about this method. When people getting mad at you, or especially when you're getting mad, You gotta focus into yourself. You watch your own thoughts. Now, you're really watching the product of the thought, what the thought makes you to do. Now, suppose someone comes at you and be yelling at you. What you do is you don't respond to any one of those. You watch yourself. You watch your own thoughts. See how you get mad. When you hear those bad words, harsh words, racial slurs, all that, just pay attention to yourself. Then you will notice your anger builds up. When that happens, again, don't do anything. What your job is, you're supposed to be watching the thoughts. That's all. You're supposed to be watching your own thoughts. That's all you do. When you do, something happens. If you want to call it a magic, call it a magic. Or some people, you want to call it a universal secrets. Okay, either way, it's an experience. You feel good. In an abnormal way, you feel good. When did you feel good when people be yelling at you? Never. You'll be having a very miserable day. But no, just practice what I said. And you need to keep practicing this while you drive. Now, myself used to be I'm quick-tempered, and especially when I drive. Not anymore, but if you are one of those people like me, pay your attention to your own thoughts. Let your body get mad. Let your body get mad. Let your mind get mad. Don't react to it. Just watch it. That's all you do. Now, for an instance, somebody cuts you off while you drive. I know how you would feel. But what you do now, since you're in a mission, now you have a job to do. What's your job? Just watch your thoughts. You're watching actually how the thoughts are building up to a point where you go out of control. That's what usually happens, right? When someone tells you something, when someone does something bad to you, you're building up the anger. You get mad, and at a certain pace, you go off. You either yell back at them or you do bad things back to them. But in this practice, you do not react. You watch your own thought. Your focus is just on your thought. You're watching how the anger is building up. The magical part is the more you're focusing to how you're getting mad, it just goes down. It just goes down to a point where you will not even remember that it did happen. That's a magic. When you practice doing the same exercise, after a period of time, your thoughts are becoming weaker. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Your thoughts are getting weaker means you don't get mad like before. You have enough time to analyze the problem. You have enough time to analyze the thought before you respond. Now, this is ultimate magic. Now, one of the mistakes you can do it in here in this practice, if you know what is the dualism means, now that's not what you're practicing. Now, how does that dualism thing work? In comparison to the baddest thought that you had towards a one genre, let's just say when someone's yelling at you, this is just one example. When somebody's yelling at you, the maddest you've ever gotten to versus the slightest you've ever gotten to. So do not compare that when you practice this. Just watch the thought, or what you're really watching is the product of the thought. Product means the thought makes you to do things. So you're watching how your anger is building up. The more you watch, it just goes down. Now, again, I'm telling you guys, conventional worlds, wordings matter. Okay? So if you're not sure or unclear about a certain word, please ask me. Because we talk about the same thing, but some people, they really want to stick to these micro wordings, which is a good thing if you think it's a good thing. So, but please ask. And when you keep practicing this for a long time, I mean, just practice it. I can't mention how long will it take, or it depends on how much you practice. That's why I said, if you were to do a job like customer service, it's easier because you'll be meeting people within 30 seconds or, comparing to other people. Another obstacle you would face is that you forget what you're doing. That's a very common mistake. It even happened to me. So you forget what you're supposed to be doing, or you forget that you're in a mission of doing this. Now, what I did was, in the house, I wrote some notes. So it was easier for me because I used to live by myself. So I'm not sure how well you would do it with if you're living with other people, but just do your best. Either you may have a reminder on your cell phone also. Now, the workplace too, have a little note posted on the wall or a window, so you see that every time. So that reminds you to live in the present time. It's very important. Living in the present time. Now, Buddhists, they have different meditations to practice that too, because that's the main reason why people sleep their head. You don't live in the present time. Actually, the real enlightenment is beyond the middle is the enlightenment. But where is the middle? There's no such a thing called the middle. Every little middle you get, there is another middle between that middle. So the enlightenment stays beyond the middle. So literally, we live on the enlightenment platform, but we don't realize it. That's the problem. Just like a dog or a cat were to chase over its own tail, we'd be running around, we'd be just running around because of our thoughts. Thoughts makes us run around. So that's why this simple method, you're practicing how the thoughts work, helps you to slow down the thought process. Finally, at the end, you can isolate a one thought, and just like all these great people like Buddha did, you can achieve to the highest level of intelligence, called the Enlightenment. Hope you have learned something today. And if you have any questions, anything unclear, or if you want me to do a different presentation, or if you want me to change the style of doing my presentations, please comment below. And I will see you guys with another beautiful and awesome video in the very near future. Until then, thank you.